Hello everyone, it's Yogi here. Good evening from London. I hope you're well. And today I'm going to be working on this piece. Um, this lovely piece is called Dried Flowers. Quite a generic name, but it's absolutely gorgeous and it's from Heaven and Earth Design. And so I've only started working on this piece maybe maybe 3 months ago, when I embarked on a journey of 10 stitches, which I didn't really do before, prior to this year. And so this is on a 22 count fabric and 2/1, so 10 stitches. I'm using 2 threads. And let me just show you the mock-up. Let's start there. Let me move my little cat over there. So here's the mock-up. Really, really gorgeous and really whimsical and warm. Kind of has that feeling of autumn. I think that's probably the time of the year that you prepare your dried flowers, after the spring and summer is over. And, try to preserve the flowers around that time, and you can appreciate them throughout the winter. So this is a mini version, if I haven't mentioned it already, but it's beautifully charted, a lot of details here. So you can see here, let me zoom in a little bit. So this is my progress so far. I'm stitching from upper left diagonally to the right, one block at a time, and then one row at a time. So it's a very different way of stitching comparing to the last few streams. And also you probably noticed on my title, the title of the stream, it says 4K stream. So from today, I'm going to stream on a higher definition on 4K. So your browser might not switch to 4K automatically. If that's the case, you can have a look, and you can select 4K for your browser. So it means you'll be able to appreciate the texture of the fabric and the thread colors. Everything will look even better. So, and the reason I'm doing it is because I've just upgraded my internet, so the speed is a lot higher. I've been wanting to do 4K for ages, but waiting for an upgrade. So here we are. I hope you appreciate the colors, and I'll bring it nice and close so you're able to see everything nice and clear. Beautiful. So before we start, actually, let me just zoom out a little bit. Before we start, I'm going to show you the tool I'm going to be using to track my stitches. So today I'm using Pattern Keeper. So mainly, quite a lot of you probably are quite familiar with it. So I'm starting with from 0 stitches. So this is I just came back from teaching a yoga class, an evening class, and I just can't wait to hop on and stitch this piece. I've been ironing it for the last day or so. So this is my progress so far, relating, proportionally to the entire piece. So it's a mini version, but it's not that mini. I think we know what Heaven and Earth design is like. So this is supposed to be the baby version, but it will probably take me a little bit. So I'm going to start block by block and maintain that diagonal shape there. So let's see how far we can progress today. So overall, I'm on 4.14%. So tiny bit, but I'm just really excited to switch stitching method and color palette for this one. So last few days, maybe last week, I've been stitching a lot of really bright color pieces. So this is a really nice change there. Let me bring up the markup so you have the reference there. And let me know if you're stitching as well. I'd love to know what you're stitching. And let me bring my little cat here. You can see the color transition here, so pretty. So I just finished an evening class. It's a lovely class that I look forward every week. I look forward to all my classes every week, but this class, I don't teach late night classes that frequently. So this is one of the few that I teach late in the evening. I prefer teaching the daytime or in the more on the morning side. Let me just start from here because I think this block has got 2 rows to go. So it might be a good place to start and to complete it. And as I said, if you miss the update earlier on, now I'm streaming with 4K, so everything is prettier and clearer. So change the setting of your browser to 4K if that's available to you. It should be in the bottom right corner of your browser there. And yes, I forgot to mention I'm using CXC floss there. And so this is the whole book. Let me just zoom out a little bit. It's a big book, and it's got all the full set, basically, all the ones I need anyway. So it's a big heavy one, so I'm going to put it on the side there. And I'm going to start from this little stitch there. So I need a few warm-up stitches as usual. This is like a workout class, workout session. So from here, let me just remove that little thing here, little fluff. What is that? Why is there a little dot there? Never mind. So I'm doing stitching a little bit later today because of the class, obviously. And when I came back, normally I might have something to eat, but today I'm just not hungry at all. Probably because it's a hot day. It's been very warm in London for the last few days, which is very nice. But at the same time, you kind of lose appetite. 3371. That's where I'll be starting. 3371. Because the plan was I was going to eat something before maybe do a late night stitching session, but then because I'm not hungry at all, so I just said, well, let me just hop on, maybe it will give me some appetite afterwards. Who knows? I tend not to eat if I'm not hungry. I try to follow body's rhythm rather than forcing myself to eat a certain time or a certain amount. If I'm hungry, I eat more. If not, I just leave it. And the body seems to be quite happy. But I do have a cup of black coffee still. It's a little bit late for coffee, but I don't mind it. And so I need to remember this is 10 stitches. I go into autopilot and start stitching the full cross. So 2/1 is what I'm doing here. So that's only one stitch, and I'm going to park it. Not parking, I'm going to end my thread there. So this is the last stitch around this area with this color. 73771. I'm going to pop it back. 771. So I tend to put my thread, part my needle with the thread on my floss organizer. So it's quite easy to get the threaded needle out. And I kind of need to warm up on Pattern Keeper as well, because I've been using Cross Stitch Saga and also Markup RXP as well. So I need to get my head around. Let me see, 934, 934, that looks right. Hang on, 934. I just want to double check the color. 934, because sometimes I part the thread in the wrong location and I end up stitching the wrong colors. 934. Nice 3/4. It's a good that I checked because the color is incorrect. Good job, Yogi, for checking. It's always worth checking. It's actually a greenish color. Let me see. It's nearly 10 o'clock actually. Oh dear, where's time gone? It's nearly 10 o'clock in the UK, but it's still very warm. Normally it's cooler. Hello, Dolly. Hey, it's Dolly saying hello. She always comes to me looking for attention as soon as I sit down to stitch. And when I'm not, she's kind of, aloof and going to the garden, doing cat things. But as soon as I sit down to stitch, she's there. Babe, you already had supper, okay? And you will get the cuddles when Mummy's finished. So the fabric is 22, so slightly larger stitches. Is quite nice. If you've been stitching 25 count or higher for a couple of days, is nice little rest for the eyes, for my eyes anyway. Okay, so I'm doing one row at a time. I want to keep the stitches very flat and tidy. So let me see, 1, 2, 3. Let me bring the thread up here. I may have popped a couple of threads in the wrong spot as usual. Let me see. Let me just bring this one through here. A bit closer for you. So you see I've got another thread part in the same spot. Probably last session. Sometimes by the end of the stitching session, sometimes I lose concentration and I start to park threads everywhere. The best policy is probably to cut it off and start fresh, rather than trying to figure out which color is which. Beautiful. And the next one, now this is the right color. Only 2 left for this one, and then I'm going to end the thread. It depends on where you're watching from. You're probably a lot earlier where you are in terms of the time of day. Right, and I'm going to park it down. So what I'm doing is, generally I park about 10 stitches away, or at the bottom block. I'm going from top row, but once it passes about maybe 7 rows, I start to park 1 block below, so it's got sufficient stitches to tuck everything down. And you can see here I've got tons of them parked over here, and I think it's probably a good time to remove them. They should be nicely tucked down behind. And CXC floss, if you haven't tried it before, it's the threads are really nice and full body, maybe more. It provides probably better coverage than CXC in my view. But at the same time, you have more body to deal with in terms of, you know, when you handle the thread, the part threads, it feels very full. So, you know, you just need to get used to the texture of the threads, so you don't get sort of, you know, overwhelmed, because they feel very full. Lovely. So this one, A2, 3, I'm gonna put it back. A2, 3. There's already one part ready. Lovely. So I've freed up this block. Let me just tease them away from the fabric. Beautiful. And there's one more here. It's nice to switch back to Pattern Keeper, because it's quite straightforward when it comes to parking. I mean, which one's that? I think I might end this one actually. I think I'm going to end this thread because it's getting a bit short. I don't want it to just dangle there. Cross Stitch Saga is very good if you stitch in the method I've been doing in the last few streams. You know, you pick either you select an area and you can stitch from colors with least stitches within that area and go up, or the other way around. So you have that choice there, which is quite nice. But as far as I know, I'm pretty new to the app. As far as I can figure in terms of the features of Cross Stitch Saga, I don't think it's that great if you're stitching this method, because it takes a lot more steps to select another color. Whereas this method, row by row, block by block, you literally switching colors all the time. So Saga doesn't seem to be the best app for it. I could be wrong. If I, get to know the features a little bit more, I might need to correct that. But so far, to be honest, I wouldn't use it for this method. So I'm happy to stick with Pattern Keeper. 3787. 3787. I already have one threaded. So every app has got its strengths and weaknesses rather. Let me see. It's very, very full. It's hard to explain, but it looks, the CXC threads feels very light and airy like that. But once it's stitched, you can see it's, this is 22 counts, not 25, but it's fully covered. So if you're looking to do half stitches, I think CXC is a great option. If you're worried about the coverage of half stitches, it doesn't seem to have any problem. Let me just use my right hand. And I'm going to part down to the next block. I just intuitively like to park below rather than to the right. Sometimes I do if there's nothing below. But somehow it just makes more sense to park below. So the class I taught today, it's on every Monday night, and it's in yoga. So I don't know whether you have been to in yoga. If you're a little bit intimidated, you've never done yoga before and a little bit intimidated, then in yoga would be a very good place to start, because not saying that it's easy. There's still a lot of engagement of the body, but generally you're holding poses for a lot longer, and also you're mostly on the floor. So that's the inside of the yoga. You're mostly on the floor, and you come to deep sort of tissue stretches, and it's relaxing. It requires some effort for sure. This is not a class you go and sleep, no, there's some stretches can be very intense, but you go away, you walk away very relaxed, because our body doesn't get to stretch for a sufficient amount of time most of the time. If you go to yoga classes or fitness classes, you might do some stretches in the beginning and also at the end, but you kind of transition into different postures fairly quickly. It's just the time factor, the flow factor, etc. Well, this one's so short. Let me see. Tiny bit left. Let me see if I can manage the 4 stitches at the end here. So normally, in regular sort of yoga classes or fitness classes, you do a little bit of stretches in the beginning or the end. Our muscles take some time to register deep stretches, and so regular stretches does help, but sometimes your body does not realize that you're stretching. It's just a movement. So in yoga actually allows the body to stay in the position for sufficient time. And what happens is your body becomes more open. There's a layer of body called fascia, which is kind of like wrappers around muscle groups. And you can stretch the muscle as much as you want. If the fascia is tight, that thin layer around the muscle does not get to stretch properly, your body probably remain quite tense, quite tight. So in yoga, if you get the chance to go, definitely, your local studios or gyms, it's very popular now. 3363 336, and it's extremely popular. So I just finished this week's class already. Before I walked out of the studio, half of the places have been booked. So it's very, very popular, and a lot of people on waiting list. So it's quite a rewarding, I forgot to do the pin stitches to anchor the thread. It's a really rewarding class to teach. So for the starting method of the half stitches, I actually just do a kind of a small pin stitch. It might look a little bit bulky, but what I do is just to stitch over it and you can't see it. So I'm still exploring other methods, but this is kind of the one I settle with. It kind of works relatively well. Right, so I'm going to park it down here. Park it below. So 2 down and 2 from the left. Right here. So this is a very, very earthy piece. The colors are so grounding. It's like being in the forest, in the wood. And I've got about 4 stitches for this block. Let me just pull it over there. Three, 1, 4, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. Already got one threaded. These are beautiful, beautiful colors. Leave a little tail there. I'm right-handed, so sometimes actions like this, like a pin stitch, I still need to use my dominant hand, which is the right side. I like to practice so I'm able to do it with one hand. Right, so I'm going to park it down here. Not a very long thread left, but I'm going to leave it. I was drinking Diet Coke actually, and coffee at the same time. Double caffeine. I'm going to stay awake till God knows. Right. Parked. And nice 3-6. Nice 3-6. Nice 3-6. Another beautiful green. Right there. I think in London, because we tend to have really, really dark and cold winter and wet most of the time, and people really appreciate sunlight, and there's those summer days like this. You know, even in the summer, we don't always get days like this. There's no guarantee. So this year has been pretty good, and you can sense the difference in people's faces, the mood. You know, people just seem a lot happier. I think rain, if it rains for weeks, sometimes it can really, really bring you down. It's just the way we are. 6 4 6 4 5 6 4 5. Two more, the last two. And then this block will be completed. Lovely. And then with this one, I think I'm going to pop down actually. 1 2 3 from the right. 1 2 3. There you go. A lot of body there with these thread, with CXC thread. Okay, the pocket, market. Oops. I think I'm just trying to decide which block to move forward to. So let me have a little look here. I could complete this one, so it would be a nice staircase going on there. Why not? Let's do it. So let me bring it over there a little bit. One 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I may have put this one incorrectly as usual. So I'm going to stitch this one. 2 remain, and then park it down, second from the right. I always feel like a hairdresser when I park so many threads. This one over there. So this one might not be correct. Let me see. Where is this one coming from? 2 more. I see. I think I part this one over here. Why don't I just stitch it? I think this one belongs here. And then 4 down from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on a second. For some reason, I'm parking 1 stitch off with these ones. How weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Bizarre. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 5. I was probably half asleep when I stitched these. So every stitch is parked like 1 stitch off. That's why I was getting a bit confused. Lovely. Lovely here. I think Pattern Keeper is still the best app if you're parking a lot. It's absolute joy to use. Other than the fact that you have to switch back and forth with the search mode, markup mode, pinch and zoom mode. That's a bit of an issue. And I had to practice a lot in the beginning when I got the app. I kept forgetting that you had to do that. So I just end up doing all sorts of weird things. So I'm actually stitching down because it's a whole bunch of stitches, the same color. So I'm allowing myself to stitch down when whenever it's got a stitch above. That's the Needle Ninja rule. That's what I learned from Needle Ninja. Okay. I don't think she's making content anymore. I just checked her channel the other day. The last video was like, oh, I don't know, maybe a year ago, if not longer. It's a shame. Sometimes people just stop making content for some reason. I'm going to cheat and do these 3 because they're really close together, even though these 2 are from the next block. But I'm going to just use up the thread so I'm not going to waste it, and park it down here. Not parking, ending rather. Let me have a sip of my coffee. So good. Let me just mark these three. It's just so interesting that when you switch stitching method, you feel like everything is just so fresh. It's just lovely. I'm so glad there are different ways of stitching. 647, 647. I've got one threaded, yay. 647. So I'm going to do it over there. In fact, I've got 2 stitches there. So instead of a pin stitch start, I'm going to just stitch both of them. So the thread, the tail underneath is tucked down. I do that when there are multiple stitches, so I don't have to do a pin stitch. And I'm going to park it below. When you go row by row, the stitches are so smooth and flat. You can't, you can't, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's something you don't get when you do color completion of a block, particularly when you do sort of a 2/1. You can probably get away with it with 1/1, but when you have this much, it's a volume full of thread. When you do color completion, the final few stitches are just so tight because all of them are sandwiched between stitches. 318. And I don't enjoy stitching it when it's really tight. You have to push your needle through. I know it's faster. Color completion is just faster. There's no other way about it. But then again, I'm not looking for speed necessarily. I'm looking for the quality of the stitches. You know, the way you push the needle through, does that feel good? And do the stitches look nice and relaxed, or do they look really nervous because they're cramped together? That's what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to park it out down here. Five, 2, 4. 5, 2, 4. I think if I was trying to, you know, if I actually tried one block, or maybe 2 rows of a block with cross stitch saga, stitching the same method, you know, row by row, color changing, and man, I suffered. I had to tap the app everywhere to get a color to switch quickly. There's no quick way of doing it. Maybe some of you, if you've been using Saga for a long time, maybe you can enlighten me. Maybe the app is just not designed to do that, and which is fine. Which is fine. I was hoping to maybe migrate most of the projects over there, but if it is not happening, then that's fine. I'm happy to continue to use Pattern Keeper. 2 stitches there, and 414. Okay, 414. I want to double check the color because it's not marked for some reason on my app. 414. So I just want to make sure it's not. Oh yes, it's fine. I just didn't mark the thread as part thread. And let me know if the audio, the volume is okay, because I changed a few settings as I readjust the settings for 4K. So I hope I haven't messed up anything. It's one over here. And tomorrow I don't have early morning classes, so I'm feeling very relaxed. And even before I went to the studio, I was thinking about this piece. It's like, you know, how I decide what to stitch every day is, you know, I'll scan through all my WIP, which is like a lot, and one piece would talk to me. The piece would go, stitch me today. Yes, I'm the cross-stitching whisperer. And my projects talk to me. One more here. And then I'm going to park it below here. If you haven't tried this way of stitching, try it. It's so relaxing. It's like Tai Chi. It's like stitching Tai Chi. There's a sense of just, you know, allow the stitches to take over. You're not trying to rush it, force it, speed things up. You're just taking one step at a time. And all the stitches come out lovely and flat. And I'm going to move forward here and park it down. Just want to make sure I park it the correct location. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one. One, two. Let me see. Just make sure. One, two, three. And then I'm going to park it below here. I think parking in a correct location is the key. Because sometimes I kind of, you know, too lazy to count. I just follow the path, you know, the threads that's already parked. But if you park one wrong and you use that as a reference, you just park everything wrong. I think that's what happened to those ones. Okay, I'm gonna leave this one here just to stitch everything in order, because it feels better when it's in order. More needle here. 452. 452. Do I have one already? It's probably too short. I don't know. Maybe I'll start a new thread. No, it's okay. See if I can get this going. I don't want to waste anything. Let's do it. I'll try my clumsy pin stitch with my left hand. Need to practice so I don't have to switch hands. 1, 2, down. Okay. Let me snip this off. See the color transitions here. It's just so subtle. It's so beautiful. And this is a mini piece. You know, this is mini. This is not max colors. This is not regular colors. It's mini. But for this piece, because it's, if you look at the mock-up, it's quite a kind of almost sketch-like style piece. So it's perfect to do it mini because, you know, we don't need sort of super high depth kind of details. Some pieces might be benefited, you know, doing regular or max color, but I think a piece like this is just perfect to keep everything loose. And also I get to finish it maybe a bit sooner. Instead of 20 years, maybe 19 years, who knows. And also I'm doing half stitches, so it's already by default a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lovely. I've got a block of chocolate here on my mouth on from time to time. This is lovely. It's a 74% cacao, dark chocolate. So I'm very low in sugar. I might have a piece. If you're having snacks, let me know what your snack of your choice is. I love my dark chocolate. And it's really, really good for you as well. And this one, last one in this row. Oh, so good, this chocolate. Sometimes if I'm not super hungry, I'll just have a few pieces of the chocolate. And it's just lovely. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to park to the right because it's very close to the next, to this stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here. I park to the right if it's really close to where I finish the last stitch. Oh, melt in the mouth. That's what a good chocolate should be. It just melts in the mouth. Apologies if I talking with chocolate in my mouth. Right. I'm going to end this thread. Thread organization. And the next one. Hey babe, my little cat. I'm sniffing my feet. Don't know what that is about. I'm going to do the one below. And park over here. Next one. This one's getting quite short. So I'm going to end it after these stitches. Maybe I'll do this one as well before I end it. Down here. I've already managed 61 stitches. It's not bad at all. It's not as slow as one thinks with this method. I think you're just finding the flow. You need to flow with the method. You know, if you try to race forward, and I think what I did when I started parking was I was trying to avoid threading and avoid starting and ending thread. But as a result, I think what I find is the more you try to resist, try to skip the necessary processes, the slower you get and more mistakes you make. You know, if you just settle your mind and think, well, I'm okay with all the thread changes and color changes, then you're going to go, yeah, I just, you know, flow with it. This method is the way it is for a reason, you know, and then you end up with beautiful stitches. But you do change your colors a bit more frequently, and just be okay with that. But to be honest, I park so many threaded needles on my organizer. So, you know, I do have to start the thread, you know, the stitch, but actually, I don't need to thread as frequently. So you can find ways to make it more efficient, but don't fight against the method. You know, if it doesn't work for you, then choose a different method. But if you choose to follow through like Gemma Stitches method, you just need to follow the order, you know, of the stitches. Don't fight, don't resist. Shino, hello. Hello, Shino. So good to see you. You know what, Shino? I looked up your channel and you have beautiful stitching sessions. I love it. Really close up and oh, amazing. I'll definitely be watching you stitching from now on. What time is it in Japan? I'm trying to think. Is it before, ahead, or is it behind? Is it, maybe it's behind? Are you, hang on. Oh, maybe it's early over there, isn't it? You know, I'm terrible with time zones. And last time when Shino came to the chat, everybody else knew her, and I didn't. I feel so ill-informed. I thought I knew a lot of floss tubers, you know. I watched them throughout the years. But it was the first time I came across Shino's channel. And I love sessions that is really closed up. I love to watch stitches. It's just my thing. I think that one, I might have part one off again, but it's okay, I'll fix it. And I'm going to park it next over there. Oh, you're welcome, Shino. What a pleasure to get to know your channel. And this one, I'm going to correct the thread here. I think I parked it the wrong location. Maybe one off over there. I think it's supposed to be here. So Shino, are you stitching now, or you just woke up? I don't know. Is it morning over there? I don't know. Last time there was a lady from Japan. She was watching the stream, and it was 4 a.m. over in Japan, I think. Which is interesting that everybody's in a different time zone. Let me see, just to make sure that I haven't messed up my parking area. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. 524. I just want to double check this color. 524. Yes, I know which one this is now. Again, I part one stitch off. Oh, hang on, I haven't. Let me see. 2 below. Okay. I think I know what's happening. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Two below. I know what's happening. I keep forgetting to mark my part thread. That's why I get confused. If you don't mark it, you either start a new thread because you don't know there's a part thread of that color, or you just get very confused. 1, 2. Two more stitches to the left. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Yep. I think I'm okay. I haven't messed it up too badly. Oh, you're welcome, Sheena. My pleasure. I'll be watching more. For sure. And it's so lovely to have you here. 1, 2, 1. It's just so great. There are quite a few floss tubers managed to find my channel because my channel is really, really new. I just started maybe March, April time this year, coming out of nowhere. So it's probably the algorithm, YouTube algorithm, magic of algorithm for these people to find me. And they're so gracious. These people have a lot more experience floss tubing, and they all come to say hello. It's so nice, and they're so kind to me, and it says so much about people who stitch, you know. Lots of kind and gentle souls. And over here, so we've got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I think this one belongs to 169. 169. I'm going to snip this one off actually because I have no idea how this ended up here. There I was talking about stitching neatly and orderly, and there I was. No idea what thread color that is. 169. 169. Oh, Shino, you can call me a Fran. My name's Francesca, so just call me Fran. Perfectly okay. Or call me Yogi. And I presume it's okay to call you Shino because sometimes people have sort of internet channel names rather than actual names. You don't have to give your real names. It's not necessary. But just let me know how to address you. So I've got a few stitches down there. I'm going to just stitch all the way down. I don't know. I only do that when it's on the edge of a block because it doesn't matter. And I'm going to just come all the way down, which is nice. When you can stitch quite a few in a row. And then I'm going to move it over and be a good girl and park it here. Well, in fact, I can stitch this one because there's already a stitch above. And then there's only one more stitch below when I get to the bottom of the row. So again, I learned this technique from Needle Ninja. So it's not unusual to do row by row like this, but Stitch Ninja actually modified the rules. So you are allowed to stitch anywhere that's already got a stitch above. So the goal is not to have to go back, rows to stitch somewhere that's kind of loose stitches. You stitch orderly, but you're allowed to stitch multiple stitches downwards. Well, I think she probably has, I've seen her doing diagonal as well, which is quite risque. I haven't done much of that, but as long as it's not in the way of a part thread. So I think that's the goal, is to keep everything nice and neat. And other than that, you can bend rules. Why not if you're happy? But the goal is not to create a lot of, loose stitches. They have to go back, which I'm fully on board. I don't like doing that unless I'm doing 1/1, because 1/1 you can go back and 25 counts, for instance, you can go back and fill out loose stitches. It feels okay. The fabric isn't very tight in my, at least the way I stitch. So I'm okay with that. It's all about the stitching experience. What's the point of stitching if you're struggling to stab your needle through and, struggle all the way there? It's no fun. Even if it's faster, it's just not worth it. I'm patient-ish. Patient-ish. I'm working on it. So Shino, are you working? Are you stitching right now? I love it if you could stitch with me. I love it when people stitch with me because I need company stitching. And hopefully, when you watch the session, you feel like I'm right there with you. That's the goal. I'm going to bring this down over here. And 3 stitch. It's flowing now. I needed a few stitches to warm up, but once you're there, it starts to flow. And before I finish my sentence, I probably already making mistakes. It's just the way it is. This over here. Beautiful, beautiful colors. So lovely. I know I say that to all my projects, but then again, that's why I chose them, because they're beautiful. 647, 647. 647. Let me move it up a little bit so you can see. Shino says, this week I'm stitching It's About Time by Hade. I'm not familiar. I'm so curious. When people tell me what they're stitching, I just need to look up. Let me have a look. And if I find it, I'll show you all. So it's called It's About Me. Let's have a look. Heaven and Earth. Let's have a look, see if I can find it. I'm getting something totally different. Let me see. Ah, okay, hang on. It's About Time. Okay. Oh, I typed in it's about me. it's about time. That's why I couldn't find it. Oh, I see. Hang on a sec. Let me have a look. And you can tell me whether I found the right one. Let's have a look. Let me zoom out a little bit. Is this the piece? Shino. Let me bring up the marker. Oh my God, it's beautiful. Look at this. It is about time. It is, it's all about time. It's about clocks. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Man, there's a lot going on there. It's beautiful color. Oh, I'm discovering quite a few pieces as well. Some, because they're so popular, you kind of seen the markup. You don't always know the name. But this one, I don't think I've seen this one before. It's beautiful. It's really pretty. Really pretty. Great choice. Great choice there. It looks very high depth. So I think, 25 counts would be perfect because you need that definition, the sharpness of the images. Six, 4, 7. Six, 4, 7. I'm going to have another piece of chocolate because it's so good. Chocolate of my choice. So good. Have your snacks ready, people. Delicious snacks and stitching. A match made in heaven. So good. And this one over here, and I get to do my loop start with a new thread. 1, 2, 2 more here. This block is almost finished. It's not bad at all. Not bad at all. I'm going to stitch down this way and then park it down. Lovely. So I am going to remove these stitches underneath, because normally what I do is once I reach to the bottom 2 rows, I'll remove these end threads, and then the remaining 2 rows, if I need to end threads for the final 2 rows, I will park 1 block underneath. So that's kind of my rule. I know a lot of people probably park, I don't know, maybe further down for the entire block, but I don't want to build up too much bulk, so I try to minimize the amount of thread that I bring down just to park it. And also, if I could find a better end thread method than this, I will probably try. But so far, this is my favorite, because I don't like pin stitch and ending, because you just create little pimples everywhere. I don't like the look of it. It's just my thing. Shino says, yesterday my friends in Japan were all talking about how great your needle organizer is. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you so much. So it's kind of a bastardized version of stitching masterpieces. She's a lovely lady. She's got a YouTube channel and Instagram as well. So I stole her idea of using a plastic bag to protect. Let me just quickly zoom out, just in case people have no idea what we're talking about. So I put out a video of a quick demo. I kind of show my organizer here. So this is a big book. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Here, so this part is kind of, I wouldn't say my invention. It's just a thread card, right? But this part, the bag to protect the floss, it's coming from Stitching Masterpieces. She is such a great idea, because I was thinking about how to protect the dangling floss underneath. But the thread cards I've been using for the past 2-3 years, I used to bind my card sort of upper left here with this hole, and just turn them around from right to left like a bug. And now with this new modification, I flip them this way, because I'm binding on both sides with one of these wires. Yeah, so it's working really well. Like I said, I park my threads, leftover threads here. I just stick a piece of felt on top. So this is kind of quite a traditional thread card. I just use it slightly different way, and it's working really well. So no complaint there. So thank you. I mean, it's always good to share this type of ideas, because it enhances the stitching a lot. If everything is orderly and efficient, everything just more enjoyable. I always feel like if my thread organizer is in order, my life is in order. That's what I think. Oh, you made one too. Lovely. Yes. and it actually works really well, and is very, you know, it doesn't cost anything really. You just need some cardboard and one of those, let me just bring it, punches, you know, like this. Just one of these. I use larger ones. This is 1 centimeter ones. And that's it. You know, put your thread through. I used to buy organizers and they're just not very efficient. So the best way is to make your own. You know, it's fun. So thank you, Shino. You can steal ideas. It's all yours. Because I steal from other people as well. So 647 is here. And when is your next live stream, Shino? I'll keep my notification on. I'd love to join you if I'm not asleep. I don't know what time you do it. 3, 4 here. Oh, I see. Okay. Forgot to mark these. And 1, 2. One, 2 here. I got really excited and forgot where I was. And another one over here. And bear in mind, these are 10 stitches, so they're quite fast by default. I'm going to park it down. Oh, 3 mm punch. So 3 millimeter. That sounds quite small. Or 3 centimeter. 3 centimeter is too big. I don't know. Yeah, because I think Stitching Masterpiece, the lady there, she uses a much smaller puncher in terms of size. But I like it nice and big because I tend to put the entire scan, in through the hole. As you can see, some people just put like a few pieces. I just put the whole thing there because it saves me from having to keep the remaining floss somewhere. So that's why the book is so big. But it works. It works. As long as the remaining thread is nice and protected, you know, now with a bag, then there's no problem there. 168, 168. One, 6, 8. Oh, of course, Shino. Shino says, I'll come visit you again. Sorry for my poor English. Not at all. It's wonderful that you come over. And thank you so much. And I'll definitely pop over to your streams as well. I'll definitely catch your next one, hopefully. And thank you for saying hello. How kind of you. And I'll catch you soon. Come over for a chat anytime. I stream a lot, as you can see recently. So hopefully I'll get to chat to you again. Thank you for sharing the projects that you're doing. And I don't know, it's morning, evening, or afternoon Yeah, night night from London. What a lovely lady. I'm just assuming everybody's lady. There might be blokes out there. I don't know. If you're a bloke, please specify. Otherwise, I'm gonna assume everybody is female. It's just don't be offended if you're a gentleman. And there's some gentleman stitchers out there for sure. They're floss tubers, which is quite nice. And 4 more here, nice and easy. I'm going to end the thread after that. This color is getting quite short. It should be enough for the 4 stitches remaining. Last one ish. 2 more. And I'm going to end it down here. Oh, actually, I tried to skip the first. Oh, never mind. I tried to skip 2 blocks, 2 stitches, but never mind. It's too short. And got 2 more to go here. I'm going to park it down here. 4 from right. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's worth counting sometimes, just in case. And last one. Mm-hmm. 169. And this is getting really short as well, so I'm going to do the last stitch to complete the block and then end it. So normally I take 2 stitches below, so when it comes to the bottom it doesn't kind of get too close. Right. Beautiful. Where shall I go next? It makes sense to probably, I think I'm going to move down here. Yes, and then I'll come back to complete this, because it's just nice to change the colors from time to time, because you know, it's quite pale grayish. It's nice to move down to a slightly darker group of colors. so you don't get fatigue of certain colors. Hairbrush out. Beautiful. Let me just bring this over there and get in the way. I'm gonna start on the left. And there's a needle ninja. She pioneered this way of stitching. She also does, I think she calls it snaking, snake method or snaking, whatever it is. She will go from row one, odd color, odd number rows from left to right, even number row from right to left. And I never, for the life of me, figure out why she needs to do that. I'm sure there are very good reasons. It's just I didn't quite understand it. Because then it determines where you park your thread as well. Because normally I pick, I'm not very consistent, but normally I pick the first one on the upper left, wherever it is on the block. But sometimes I don't do that if I can find a closer location. But it's either one end or the other. I don't park somewhere that's kind of the middle of the same color stitches. So at least you can start from the left or right. But I don't follow the number of rows. So it's a mystery to me. But otherwise, you know, her method really makes sense to me. And I think she, as far as I can remember, she does mostly half stitches as well. So this is the last stitch of this color here. So I'm going to bring it down and park it. Not park it, end it. Now 3011. I'm going to pop it back. 3011. Already got one parked. Oop. Hairdresser moment. I just feel like I'm brushing my hair. I'm going to bring my needle mitre down here. I think it's chocolate time. So good. Chocolate and stitching. Light doesn't get much better than that. One here, and I think I'm going to stitch the one below as well. 1, 2, 3. And then pop down to the left here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is where when it gets a little bit tricky, because you've got part thread above where you're looking to park. It's very easy to park in the wrong stitch. That's why I do it a lot. 2, 3, 4, 5. I count from, sorry, count from the bottom. I've got chocolate in my mouth. There you go. Whoops. Next one. One, two. I'm going to stitch this one below. I feel like you're cheating. It feels really good. Get away with having to change the thread, at least for one row. Next. Oh, I don't think this color is correct. I have a feeling it's not. Let me do a check. Because the color representation on the app is not always correct, but it should be relatively close. 414. Let me double check. 414. Oh, I think it might be correct. It's just on the app, it looks much darker than this. So I panicked for a moment. I think it's correct. Beautiful. And then I'm going to part down here, way down. So you can see it well. And if you don't know already, I'm streaming 4K, which means you can watch it in very high definition, and your browser might not turn it on automatically. If your Wi-Fi allows, turn the 4K on so you can really appreciate the texture of the thread and the colors. I highly recommend it because it looks beautiful. 1, 2 here. Why do I have a part thread already? That looks totally different. I don't know what I was doing the last time I part these threads. It just looks nothing like this color. So, hang on. But this is not the same color, is it? Hang on. I might have a part thread here. Are these the same colors? Yes. Never mind. Let me snip one off. Again, that wasn't marked, so I had no idea. All right. All good, I think. Um, let me see. Row 1. There's one last stitch I missed here. So with this one, got one stitch here for this block. And then I'm going to park it down here. 1, 2, 3, 4 from the right. Second row. Let me move this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second row down. So sometimes, depending on where you end your threads, you might end up, you know, having to part somewhere that's got an end thread there. I try to avoid that, but happens sometimes. Good. Row 1 done. Row 2. Move it over here a little bit more. And the one below. Well, maybe park it below here. One, two, three, 4. And then 5 above. Let me just check. Right there. Just one stitch, and then I'm going to pop down to the block below. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And pick this one. Just one stitch. And that's it. Oh, there's another one way down here. I think I will park it. Sometimes I choose to end it if it's too far away. 3, 4. I mean, 2 blocks doesn't look like a lot, but what happens is when you park it too far away, you just build up a lot of bulk with the park thread at the back. And row by row isn't too bad, but you could start to feel very tight, you know, when you put your needle through. So as a practice, perhaps try to minimize it. Well, I do anyway. So some people might not mind that. So with this one, I'm going to stitch over here, and I'm going to do a diagonal. I'm going to do a needle ninja move. So this is what I was talking about, because it's clear here. I might do a diagonal stitch below if I'm allowed. It feels naughty, but yeah, it's fine. There's no police around, I hope. So I'm going to park it down there. Here, 1, 2, 3. So this is one of the examples that I'm going to put the needle through somewhere. I've got an end thread docked here, so it should be okay. Try to make it work as well as I can. This one over here, and I'm going to park it under this stitch here. Be nice and neat. Three, 8, 6, 2. 3, 8, 6, 2. It's a brown color. 3, 8, 6, 2. I'd love to be able to finish this block before bedtime. And the stitch is 2 below. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Three, 1, 8. Just one stitch. 3, 1, 8. Let me see. For some reason, one stitch, and I'm going to end it. So bring the end thread a little bit lower just to avoid all the part threads. 318. Have a sip on my coffee. One, two, one down. So the part thread is kind of competing a little bit with my end threads there. And another one down. Actually, I'm going to stitch this one because it's on the edge of the block, so I don't mind that. This one's getting a little bit short, but should be okay. A couple more stitches. Hang on. Why is this one like this? Why do I feel like I did not stitch the one above? Does it look stitched? Maybe I just missed the corner there. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to just stitch over. I think I did stitch this one above. It's just I missed the bottom left corner, so it looks a little bit unstitched, if that makes sense. So I'm going to just stitch over it. No one will know. Even I will know later on. If you ask me, where was that stitch that you cheated? I wouldn't be able to tell you. Right. Uh, 6, 4, 7. I just want to check the color. It looks a little bit suspicious, a little bit different from the app. 6, 4, 7. It's correct. It's worth checking because sometimes the it just look a little bit too light. And then I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to just pop down. Three A61, 3A61. Three A61 here. Oops. I had to practice doing the loop start completely with one hand, because normally I'll just use both hands, but then you could do it with one hand with some practice. And I'm going to park 4 from left, 3 from bottom. One, two, three, there. It's worth spending a little bit time to count the stitches, because if you, sometimes I get a little bit sloppy and lazy with part thread. I just, well, you know, just part roughly there in the location, and I'll just figure it out when I get there. And what happens is sometimes you can't figure it out, and then end up having to cut the thread off if you can't do it. Can't figure out what that part thread is supposed to be. And why do I not have the other thread? Wow, these two colors are so similar. That's why I'm getting confused. Okay. They literally look identical, but the one is actually slightly darker than the other one. My eyes couldn't tell. And then one under here. Also, if you put CXC thread and DMC thread side by side, you can definitely tell the difference. Not better or worse. They just kind of not identical. It's not surprising because even DMC or within the same brand, if you buy them from different batches, DMC, the same thread number can look very different. I've seen some oranges and pinks. They look totally different, even though technically they're the same color. But yeah, so it's just the way it is. So you can imagine that CXE is sort of using the same color chart, but if you put them side by side, they look fairly different. But the thing is, if you don't mix the threads, you know, different brand of threads with your project, and just be consistent with one single brand, then it would just come out, you know, everything just gets evened out. I've seen people mixing different brands because they run out, they just use the other one. I mean, I suppose you can't really tell if you really, you know, unless you try really hard, but it's just I'm trying to see whether I want to take this over here. Why don't I? It's just that if you, depends on the pieces, if the same colors are different or in different locations of the piece, you literally cannot tell for sure. But if they're in the same area, you know, then maybe you can notice a little bit of difference. I mean, at the end of the day, you probably can't, but it's just as a practice. It's knowing that it's probably good to stick with the same brand of floss throughout for the project, I think. And texture is very different, you know, DMC texture and CXC texture of threads feels very, very different. It's a bit like if you knit the different brand of yarns can feel very different, even though technically they're in the same category. So just one stitch here. Let me see if there's anything below. Yes, but way below. So I'm going to move my part threads, a bunch of part threads here to find my spot. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Here. The treasure hunt. Just find a spot. I've seen a video of there's a lady doing comparison of DMC and CXE, so the color differences, and it was really helpful because at that time I was struggling whether I should stick with DMC, which was very expensive, or using CXE. And then I decided to buy CXE in the beginning of my full coverage journey, because I wasn't sure whether I was going to like it at all. I didn't want to invest that much until I know that I like it. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And I'm glad I did that, because imagine if I invest in DMC, buy the whole set, and then realize I just not really for me. And for those you don't know, DMC, if you're in America, you're very lucky when it comes to DMC floss. Over here in Europe, I don't think it's just the UK, maybe just Europe in general, even though the DMC is French, we pay a lot for DMC over here. Maybe a few times more than where you are. I think I heard from Nikki Stitchy, it's about maybe 60 cents, if I'm correct, with the currency in America. Whereas over here, we pay maybe ranging from, oh, let's see, from £1.20, from £1, yeah, so maybe the cheapest you can get for £1, depends on the colors, but most of the time, £1.20 to £1.50, 60. And I don't know the precise conversion rate, but £1 is about, I don't know, $2. Not even, well, maybe one, just slightly over $1. So, oh, my math is terrible. I'll give up. But basically, it's quite a few times more expensive than, you know, somewhere like America. I don't know about the rest of the world. But over here it's like gold dust, 3772. So if you try to kit up something that's 250 colors, good luck, you know. If you're not having a whole set, then yeah, if you buy loose, you know, floss, even if you buy the whole set, it's still not that much cheaper. 3772. But at least you've got a whole set there. 3772. So that's just the way it is. So I'm quite glad that there's CXC available, and it's a pretty decent floss. You know, the texture is slightly different, but that's totally fine by me. And it provides really good coverage for half stitches, so that's a bonus. Hi, Lara. Okay, so Lara says it's between 60 cents and 70 cents per scan here in the US. Yeah, that's consistent with what Nikki Stitchy said. Oh, I envy you. So 60 cents is about, maybe about 50p here. Is about half a pound. So we're paying 3 times more on average. So that's why when I see sort of American floss tubers, they've got like crates of DMC. It gives me a heart attack. So I thought, well, are you a stockbroker or something? How do you afford that much DMC floss? You must be mining gold as a profession. So that's just the way it is. We're just paying more of everything over here for some reason. You know, the same thing with electronics. So for instance, Apple products, if you look up the price in dollars of an iPad, for instance, we're paying the same number, but in pounds. So let's say if it's $1,000 for an iPad, I don't know how much it is nowadays. We're paying £1,000 in pounds. How is that fair? I don't know. I mean, we've got pretty good health care here. We've got NHS, but we're paying through the nose for everything. 647. 647. here. Ashley says, Ashley Stitches. I mean, America, American sounds. South America or southern part of America. And I often find big bags of slightly older DMC floss and thrift stores and yard sales. Whoa, for a few dollars. I don't know if those are popular over there. No, I don't know about countryside of America, of the UK, but we don't have something like that here. These are the things you just mentioned. Is there something that I watch on American TV, like drama and movies and stuff? You have like garage sales, yard sales. No, we don't have those, at least not in London. I'm not even sure it happens in the countryside. Maybe there are more flea markets there, but they're still from the vendors. People rarely kind of, sell their stuff on their front yard because we don't have a front yard. I have a patio, but my front yard is just a tiny strip of space where we put our bins, and that's it. So maybe that's why. And in London, not everybody drives, so there's no garage. It's not a standard thing. Yeah, I can't speak for countryside of the UK. I'm not aware of it. It's very much the American thing. And it sounds so whimsical. You just, get stuff out in the front yard and people just come and buy. How nice. I've got tons of stuff I would love to be able to pass on to others or sell. But over here, you probably have to go to like places like eBay and stuff like that, which is a bit scary and a lot of work, But that's great if you can get, it doesn't matter if it's older DMC, because why does it matter? It's still DMC, right? And that's what I've been seeing with a lot of floss tuber in America. And they just have a craze of dreams. They have a lot of DMC. I bought a whole set, but I had to bite the bullet and convince myself that I'm worth it. I got the wooden drawer thing, and I'll probably have to pass on to 3 generations, behind me to justify it. But at least I've got a set. And I top it up quite mindfully. I only buy loose scans if I need more of something, and I keep a track with my spreadsheet. It's like a business. And but yeah, because you can't just buy tons of them willy-nilly. It just doesn't work like that. Let me see, which one's this? This one, I think, maybe. I think I part this one incorrectly, or maybe correctly. Let me have a look. 452. Oh, Laura says, church flea markets are wonderful to find DMC floss. Where is that? Oh, church flea markets in church in general. My God, it's more and more whimsical as it goes. Yes, we do have churches here, but you don't see any flea market necessarily. Maybe some countryside. Not London, not urban areas like London. 452. It would be wonderful if people are able to just, sell their belongings they don't need anymore easily. Over here, there really isn't a kind of tradition to do that, at least not in London. 452. 452. I'm just checking the color. No. 524. Again, I put this one in an incorrect location. Let me move it down. Yeah, church flea market sounds like a dream. And that's what I've been seeing in American movies. They just have a car in the front yard and they just sell all sorts of things. Because every household has things they don't need but could be treasures for other people. And what I normally do is because I don't like to sell things because there's so much work, and I don't want people to kind of come to my house to look at things. It's scary, and you don't know who they are. They could be some sort of psychopath. And also going through eBay is so much work, post and packaging and all that stuff, and you have to build, take photos and catalog everything. It's just too much. 452. And so what I've been doing, it might sound shocking. A lot of people do it actually, I think. I would just leave them outside over the fence. I've got a small, if you look up English kind of Victorian houses. So where I'm living is very old house. It's probably, well, it's not that old in European standard, but probably old for the rest of the world. So where I live is a Victorian house that was built in if I'm correct, 1880 something. So it's over, is it? My math is so bad. Over, yeah, definitely over 100 something years. But it's not super old in British standard. But what happens is you tend to have a tiny little front, what I would call it front yard is probably a bit exaggerated. It's kind of just a small strip of space where you have a fence, and the areas most people just put their bins there. That's the space. So normally I'll put stuff I don't need anymore over the fence, just outside my house, my flat. And flat is a apartment in America, maybe. And that's it. And I've timed it before. This is the thing. Depends on what I put out there. I've timed it. Some items literally within 10 minutes, they disappear. I don't know how it works. It's a mystery to me. There seems to be people kind of just going around these blogs, see if people put out anything they don't need. And people here are quite mindful, if we put something out, even though we don't need them anymore, we package them, put them in the bags, sometimes label them, some stuff. I'll just put a label and mark out what they are. If they want it, they take it. Otherwise, leave it to someone else. And you leave the bags open, because if you seal the bags, you will get people try to open it and see what they are, and sometimes they make a mess, unfortunately. And so you try to leave it as transparent as you can. And most of the times, most items, and I'll tell you one type of items that doesn't, no one wants, but most items, they disappear very quickly. The only thing or things I had put out there that no one wanted was shoes and clothing. For some reason, you're probably better off donating them to charity shops. If you leave them outside, for some reason, probably, I don't know, maybe they're just hard to resell. I think a lot of people collect them. They can resell them, which I don't mind. Do whatever you want. But clothing, shoes, that kind of stuff, you know, no one wants them. So normally, if I can, I donate them to charity shops. So there you go. So, and we do have charity shops, but I have never seen sort of stitching related stuff there. I don't think so. It's mostly clothing, accessories. And to be honest, they're not that cheap. There might be some cheaper items, but nothing's cheap in the UK, I'm afraid. I suspect these two colors are the same. I might have part the same colors twice over here too. I'm trying to see. Where am I? Three here. Okay, I know where I am. So this one is not correct. I'm going to snip it off to avoid the confusion. And sometimes, despite my best effort, I still park in the wrong area or the same color twice for some reason. I don't know how that happens. And this went down. So I've been stitching for about 2 hours. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this row as the last row before the end of the session. So I'm going to do one more row. And I think I've been doing quite well. I know where this one is. I'm doing quite well, actually. I tidied up that unfinished block, and I managed nearly 2 blocks on top of that. So I'm very happy with that. And I'll be sharing the number of stitches I have completed in this session at the end of it. Lovely. This one, final row. I'm going to park it over here. 1, 2, 3. There's already one there already. How bizarre. Never mind. Let me end it. Oh no, I'm going to park it down. Below. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And one above. I actually saw this lady, a floss tuber lady. She basically, she's got a big basement. She's from America, I think. I don't know which part of America, but she's got a basement that's pretty big. It's full of stuff, and she's got crates and crates of cross-stitching kits and floss she got from maybe one of those cells that you've been talking about in the comment. But they're big boxes, and I think I can't remember how much she paid. Maybe like $100 or something, but it was like a surprise box. She didn't know what was inside. Laura says, "Oh, thank you for sharing your stitching. You kept me company while working on my own piece." Wonderful, Laura. And let me know which piece you're working on. I'd love to know what you're working on. It's wonderful when I hear people are stitching with me, in particular live as well. If you're watching this in the playback, that's wonderful too. But it brings me joy if you're stitching real time with me. You know, here I am in a London flat. What time is it now? Past midnight. It's so wonderful to know that you're stitching with me. So and that's the great thing of people coming from different time zones, because wherever you are, there's always someone is awake and doing things, even late at night where you are. Beautiful. That's very gracious of you to comment. This one over here. I'm going to park it below here. I think you've never done this type of parking before. It probably looks crazy. It looks chaotic. But there's an order to it. Because ultimately you're just stitching one at a time. Laura says, "I'm not a full coverage stitcher due to my vision. I'm working on a Plum Street George Washington piece." I see. So it's a non-full coverage piece. Yeah, why not? I do I love samplers as well. It's just a different way of stitching. I think all style of cross stitching has its charm, and absolutely, there's no point killing your own vision. You know, stitching tiny stitches if it's not really your thing. And all stitching, all style of stitching, are fun. You know, I started off doing sampler, tiny little samplers, small pieces, growing up, and really only discovered full coverage about 3 years ago during lockdown. Yeah, I think a lot of people discover new hobbies around that time. So I'm relatively new as well, even though I've been stitching quite a lot. It's the intensity of it rather than length of time. And I love exploring different ways of stitching. Your pieces are lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Laura. I have to be totally in love with what I'm stitching to keep it going. Because otherwise, why would you want to spend so much time doing it? So it has to be something that I just love to love looking at, and also interesting to do as well. You know, the color distributions, all that stuff. You know, and knowing that I won't be able to do something that's very kind of not monotone, because it could be a very, very beautiful piece. 3722, the final ones. 3722. You know, it could be a very, very beautiful design, but if it's, I often say, if it's just full of sky and ocean, I probably wouldn't be able to crack it. I just get, you know, really fatigued and bored. So if you look at the pieces of my choice, they tend to be just full of things, and that's just what I love. Because there's always something to look forward to when it comes to colors or whatever objects that's on the canvas. And that's what sort of keeps me going. And I admire people who can do pieces that I'm talking about. You know, they're literally just gradients of the same color, same colors. Don't know how they can do that, but the last stitch, yay! I'm going to just tidy up my thread here. Right, so I'm going to make this roll, the last piece, the last stitches, and let's have a look at my progress today. Ta-da, zoom out. So today I started, if I remember correctly, I finished a completed maybe one block over here. I think it's this one. There's some unstitched 2 rows there, and then I moved down to this block. This is a new block, and also I'm about 2/3 of this block as well. So I kind of just pick the block not randomly, kind of following the diagonal, but not strict. You know, some people are very strict. They have a certain order, but I kind of just move around roughly, keeping that diagonal going, but you know, free to kind of jump to different sections with different color groups, and that keeps me kind of interested. And I can see this area is starting to move into somewhere, maybe toward a window. Yeah, so that would be a different kind of area to tackle. So let me remove, actually show you the full mock-up before I end the session. This is absolutely beautiful. I'm starting from upper left corner there. You can see the bouquet of dry flowers there. And then moving down, and I'll show you my progress today. So I've been stitching just over maybe 2 hours, and then I started from 0 stitches, and now I finished nearly 200 stitches there, 191 there. My total progression is 4.34 in percentage. So a little bit to go, no rush. So there you are. So with that, I have to thank you for joining me. Particularly if you're watching live, if you're watching playback, I hope you enjoyed this session. And I'll recommend that you try this method with some of your pieces. You might enjoy it. And so it's 26 past midnight in London. Wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, but definitely good night from London. Bye bye. I'll catch you for the next stream. Bye. Thank you for your company.